I think we're live. Are we live? Can you all
We're
hear me?
live.
We
We're
have some
live.
people
Are we?
already in the chat. How's that going? If you guys can hear me, let me know. This is my first time doing something like this.
I can hear you. I hope they can hear you, because Mia, you have a beautiful accent that comes through every now and again.
Do I? I don't think I do.
You
I
do.
appreciate
I love
you.
it. Yeah.
I don't know. How are you guys? Thank you for joining. Welcome to the podcast today. We've got Adam Mock and Mark Hill, the segment. I always want to say Mark Hill, but I say the segment and then I follow up with Mark Hill so people know who I'm talking about like every single time. Yep. How are you guys? Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having us. This is great.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, if, all y'all listening, this is about Ride and Shine. This podcast is highlighting this amazing event that these two amazing dudes on the screen are leading coming up at Skypark July 15th. We've got, something like that. So we do have a lot of other content creators on the line, but I wanted to start off with Adam and Mark to kind of give a little breakdown of Ride and Shine. They had the first one last year. This is the second one this year. We're hoping to make it a yearly thing. Fingers crossed. Ooh, I'm like breaking things as I'm doing that. Go ahead, take it away, you guys. Tell us a little bit about Ride and Shine.
Mark, you want to take it?
Well, I got this amazing phone call where this all started, and I picked up. It was Adam Mock on the other side, and he said, "Hey, man, I've been seeing some things in the local community. I've got this thing on my heart, and I'm looking for a little bit of help." And I said, "Dude, let's do it, brother. What is it?" And then Adam, take it from there. What was it?
Mark's so good. He's so humble. First, before we get into this history of Ride and Shine, Mia, what an honor. Like, I love everything you're doing. You all have to know the hustle Mia has for the Women's MTB Network is tremendous. And I'm such a fan of hers and what she's doing. So please, if you haven't subscribed to her channel and stuff, she hasn't asked me to say any of this. I'm just a genuine fan. Do what you can to support me on the Women's MTB Network. They're just doing some phenomenal things. And this year at Ride and Shine, Mia actually hit me up on the side and said, I just want this thing to happen, like any way I can support it, I want to. So Mia's been very integral in getting the second year of Ride and Shine in order. But back to the story Mark was sharing. Yeah, I shared very openly that I was suicidal in my early mid 20s. And just because I came out of that, you can listen to that story on my YouTube channel, and I shared it last year at Ride and Shine. Just because I came out of that doesn't make me immune from the things that we all feel the weight of: anxiety, depression, things like PTSD, diagnosis of being bipolar, suicidal ideation, thoughts, attempts. And I love every time there's a group ride in this community. And what I mean by this community is the MTB community, especially in SoCal. What we've seen, they're so incredibly supportive. Everyone's just down. There's a lot of ride and die groups who just support everybody, from other content creators to other groups. And a couple things happened last year prior to the first Ride and Shine. It's easy to realize to think that high profile people in our community are immune from the things that we all struggle from in terms of our mental health or our mental fitness. Kyle Warner went through a lot. He had a vaccine injury, and he didn't pick a side on it. All he did was share his story. But the overwhelming amount of challenging people who came out, I want to be very diplomatic, and just wore him down. And I remember him posting something where he was in tears in his van saying he's done. And you can just see the weight on this person. Kyle, it's just such a nice dude and is dropping all this knowledge, such a skilled rider, Kyle and April. And he had to take time off of social media. And then during that same time, Lee McCormack, we were all watching him with Alex on Joy a Bike. Joy a Bike blew up, as a series. Yeah. And Lee had shared that he was suicidal, and he was in Sedona, a place that many of us go to during the Sedona Mountain Bike Fest. And he talked about being suicidal and wanting to launch himself off a cliff. And I was having a night where, outside of the trails, it means everything to me to help other people. And I get a lot of calls, DMs, and texts from people within the MTB community who maybe are just having a moment or even a season, and they need a non-judgmental, psychological, safe space to just process. And all of this kind of hit me. And this term ride and shine came to mind. And it was the idea that like we can ride with our favorite content creators and crews. Because I'm a fan of Mark's, I'm a fan of yours. I'm a fan of the guests that you have on, tonight, the Trail Dogs and Colorado Kid and Johnny U and the Outsider. And I'm getting to know Alexis and Geargirl. And it made me think about like that stoke we have when we all get together and just ride, regardless of skill level. But after that, don't we all kind of want to share more than how's the weather in your area?
Yeah.
And I thought, how beautiful would it be if you can say, hey, I'm going to my therapist tonight, without any form of ridicule, judgment, stigma attached to it. No different than how Mark will put out that he's like boxing right now.
Right.
Put that on his story. Look at him throwing the jabs. Little loose hands throwing the jabs. And I just thought like we have this. And as I started to get to know more people in the community and they would open up to me, there's an unfortunate stigma around it. We feel embarrassed. We feel like we need to stand on the pillars that people put us up on and on the top of the mountains. And the reality is we all hurt, and we have all seen things, and we have narratives in our heads that can ruminate and spiral out of control.
Yeah.
So I thought, why not call it Ride and Shine? Can we not illuminate these dark corners that we want to keep secret and talk more openly about it? And maybe, just maybe, one person's life will be saved in the process, which would mean everything. Because even though we don't all know each other personally, we're all pretty interconnected in the MTB community.
Yeah.
And so, like Mark said, I was just like, I can't do this alone. And Mark is just such a great heart and a people person. He's like a glue that galvanizes the community. I just said, hey, man, I want to put an event on. I want it at Skypark. I want to call it Ride and Shine. I need your help. He said, let's do it, brother. Let's do it. And we put that event on last year, and it was incredible. We had such courage with speakers that came up and people who were part of it. We had the Bomber Crew and EVA, Expeditionary Veterans Association, both Fred Salazar, Jacob Cruz, the heads, the generals of those organizations. They shared openly, and I love seeing some strong men up there being vulnerable and honest about things like PTSD, right? So pretty incredible. We had Transcend. We had Lost Ernie prior to Ride and Shine, about a year prior. And so Transcend had been prolific in galvanizing the community, and the Transcend crew came up and shared. We had the Trail Dogs. Oh, God, I love the Trail Dogs. I know Isaiah's going to be on later. They shared things. And then we had Meg Murray, who's on here.
She's on. She's listening. I think she's watching us.
She is, and we
there.
love Meg. Meg's awesome. Like Meg is such a badass. Like when I think of badass, Meg is like Take No Prisoners, and Kelly O Bikes. Was part of that too, and it was incredible to see a whole community come together to let anyone know that we're not alone. And in order to do that, people had to have a tremendous amount of courage to share their own stories so that other people who might be listening or sitting in would go, I'm not alone. So that's the history of it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Mark, it looked like you wanted to say something.
It was just a critical time, I think, coming out of COVID as well. There was a lot of people in dark spaces. And one thing that Adam would always say when we have these Zoom meetings planning for this first Ride and Shine was, man, it would break my heart to see you today and then to not see you tomorrow if there was something that we could have done. And none of us are, getting paid for this or anything like that. This is something we're all volunteering to do to get together. And Adam was like, his confidence and his heart was so strong on this and the timing of it that it was like, dude, how can you say no? Let's go. And it turned out that Skypark had something very like special, that a reason why they wanted to be a part of Ride and Shine. And I think we were barely off stage, Adam, after the first one, when our feet touched down off the stairs, and Skypark was right there, and they said, we're booking you guys for next year.
That's exactly it. Stephanie Burrows is a wonderful human being, and
she really is.
Skypark, let me just tell you all listening, Skypark is a tremendous park because you have the attractions, we have the trails, and there's zip lines, and there's awesome food, and you can hang with your crews and everything, and it's so fun. But God, they believed in this without ever seeing it last year. True. Right? Like they believed in it, and they said, we'll give you a stage, we'll give you a platform, and we'll get behind it. And I can't think of a lot of people that would do that without saying like, well, show us a reel, like show us something of what this thing could be. But man, Skypark was down from day one, and Stephanie was like leading the charge with that. I'm really grateful for her.
Yes.
Yeah. And she's going to keep it going. You know, we were talking with her the other night. She said, no, this is a yearly thing now, guys. So we'll see.
I love it.
So good.
It's so cool.
So we have some amazing people that are coming to this. Not only do we have some good content creators, we have vendors, which we'll talk about in a little bit as well, that are coming on. But I wanted to bring on the amazing Johnny Yu, who's coming all the way from Florida.
Let's go.
Johnny is coming from Florida to join us. Let's see. Oh, there he is. MTV Q&A. Johnny Yu.
Right. I got to follow that eloquence. You kidding me? You got a bag of rocks over here. You got Adam Mock up here, up there, wherever. Talking
oh my goodness. How are you, Johnny?
Health and Mark just with that beautiful smile. God, I can't wait to hold you. I'm gonna hold you. I'm gonna pick you up my arms.
A 30-second group hug, you know what's happening.
Oh no, it's gonna be just let's we're gonna have to part at some point, because then we're
I just want to say, it's Mark's birthday, July 15th. I'm putting that out there.
Oh, man.
Some people don't know. Some people know. We are partying that day. So the hug's going to last more than 30 seconds. I mean,
it's going to get awkward at some point. They're going to have to break us up.
And Mark, I'm very comfortable with my body and holding yours with it. So
there you go.
I'm not comfortable with my body, but I'll no, this is I am so excited for this. I mean, I got to tell you, Mark, this kid, I interviewed him on my show a while back. I think it's been about a year, and I got to tell you, he has been kind of like the glue. He has been the person that introduced me to Adam and to Mia and to all these SoCal folk, and I can't thank you enough for helping out with the show and interviewing you guys and talking about Skypark. I was like, I gotta go.
Yes.
And what a better time to do it.
Yeah. So and what a better event to be a part of, right? Like, not only to meet all us amazing folks, I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. But
my sister from another mister. But the guy who created that,
hey,
I got to support him. You know, who else? I mean, I got to fly out. The wife's coming.
Adam is like the creator of all things.
Who is actually in my wife has actually changed her thing. It's MTB TNA. Since I'm Q&A, she is now Q&A.
Oh, that's who Lauren is. She's the TNA.
Get some views, Johnny.
She's the TNA.
Oh, hey.
Did I hear that right? Did I hear that right?
She didn't know if that was appropriate. I said, run with it until it's not.
There you go.
I love this. Hey, I want to say, for those tuning in or listening, if you're from SoCal, this is how much our scene, the MTB SoCal community, is noticed. Johnny's across the country in Florida, and became a fan of so many of ours simply because we were so galvanized as a community. Never doubt the power of community. It's incredible. When we were putting content out, Johnny was actually absorbing it and decided to start his podcast because he became such a fan of what he was seeing. And now he's actually flying out just to be a part of Ride and Shine. I think that's so dope.
So amazing.
About Ride and Shine. I really want to hold Mark like a baby. No, I think it's great what you're doing, and I've said it when I interview you. I'm in therapy. You know, there's no, and I was all hesitant at first about even telling my mother about it. You know, because there is that stigma about, you know, seeing somebody for whatever issues you got, anxiety, ADHD.
Right.
And I think I'd love to be a part and hear the stories that these people have, because I honestly believe in what you're doing. There should not be this stigma. You should just be able, I think we go every 6 months to get a physical. I think you should go every 6 months and get your brain checked, your mind checked, your mental health. I honestly
think
it should be something that's part of everyone's life.
Yeah.
Oh, Johnny, I love that you have the courage to tell everyone that you're in therapy right now. This is exactly what we need to be able to do. We need to talk openly about it. Like, I want to normalize it so much where it's like, what'd you do today? I went to the grocery store, saw my therapist, talked to my coach, worked out, like did all the things to live the life that you want, to be well. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, to make your life better. I mean, there shouldn't be a stigma. It should be part of your, like, I went to the store, I went to my therapist.
Yeah.
And
it's really cool.
I was talking to one of my best buddies the other day, and I think he's going to make it to Ride and Shine because he is just getting into mountain biking. He's got PTSD and he's finally talking to someone about it. And I was like, dude, you got to come. There's going to be so many veterans there. He's a veteran. He wants to meet up with the bomber crew and all the other guys that are there. And I'm like, Jim, you have to come to this thing. So I think I've convinced him to make it. I've convinced him to make it out and not be ashamed to talk about it. Just like you guys are saying. Yeah, I saw my therapist today. It was a great session. Or, if not.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's interesting. I had a client recently. For those who don't know, I do coaching. I'm a leadership coaching specialist. I'm a transformational partner for people. So I help them with their minds. But I literally had somebody share an experience with me, and they became hesitant as they were sharing it. And they said, well, it was, and they sheepishly said it was traumatic. I feel like that's too big of a word. And I was like, who's in your mind right now? If it was traumatic for you, it was traumatic. Who am I to tell you it wasn't traumatic for you?
Exactly.
The event, but it's this hesitancy for us to just kind of say, you know what, this fucking hurts sometimes. And I'm scared and I'm confused and I can't do this on my own, but everyone feels weak to be that vulnerable. And the truth is vulnerability is great strength. We just need more of that encouragement to let people be vulnerable so they can be strong.
And people not be ashamed to do so either, not be ashamed or think that their mental health or whatever issue they're having is less than someone else because someone else, experienced something that in their mind is worse. It's like, no, your trauma is just as valid as everyone else's trauma. It doesn't, there's no level of,
right.
With all that amazing what happened, Johnny?
I live in a neighborhood where fireworks have been going off for the last 2 months. And this one went off and it just scared the shit out of me.
Sorry. I just saw you flinch and I
didn't mean to ruin the train of thought. I tell you, you're talking about the stigma and stuff like that. And it's one of those things where you do it and you find yourself, once you do it, you share it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to get too serious.
Yeah.
But it really is. I find myself sharing the stuff that I learn. I see somebody doing something and I'm like, you know what? And then A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
And I go with it. And once you start learning about stuff like this, and Adam's made a career out of it, but you share it.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
And it's so great to be able to do that.
Yeah. I'm so stoked you're coming, Johnny. It's going to be so much fun that you're going to be with us.
I'm excited. I don't live with mountains around me. So
just alligators and swamp.
Yeah, I do. But I've been training. So I lost my finger, and so I've been recently just training on the Peloton. I have ridden my bike, not on trails yet, but the braking works with the finger now.
Oh, good.
And it's a weird sensation, but I've just got to get my lungs ready. What can I expect?
Just get an e-bike.
Great question. Yeah.
Get an e-bike, and you'll be set.
Okay.
Yeah. Or if not an e-bike, we'll bring a tow rope and we'll get you to where you need to go. The beautiful thing about Skypark is there's no lift, but it's not an atrocious climb. It'll work your lungs, but it's not an atrocious climb by any means. So,
I hate climbing, and I'll go to Skypark any day. So the first person to leave a comment for us today was the ever so funny Colorado kid.
Hey.
And will we regret inviting him today? Should we bring him on and see? Are we going to be filled with regret?
I don't think we're going to regret it.
I don't think so either. Here we go. Let's see. What's up?
That question is unequivocally going to be yes. Yeah, 100%. Hi, everybody. Good to see you.
So cool.
The podcast look good.
Stoked I could jump in, guys. Johnny, I saw you built a set. Look at you back there.
Yeah.
I had to do something. I had a Peloton behind me. I had to get fancy a little bit.
I got you. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, I'm on board immediately right out of the gate. I got to tell you guys, this event's incredible. I'm bummed I can't physically make the event, but when I heard you guys were doing this live stream, I'm like, I got to jump in. I love to support what you guys are doing. I think it's important. One, what I've found with the mountain bike community is they are incredibly supportive in general. I feel like it's like the spreading of stoke is part of that, right? Like it's like first of all, what the hell's going on with my hair, by the way? Jesus, it's like I look like it's just floating down there. I get the air conditioning going right here. Anyways, it's like that spreading of stoke is the same idea. Let's all go have fun together. So it's like I think part of that is a massive stress reducer. Like if you just get out on the trail, it's incredible. I know like a lot of stuff happened during COVID where a lot of people were cooped up and that was bothersome, but like, man, some people flourish too, like getting out on the trail and realizing the outdoors again, discovering the outdoors again. Like, man, mental health wise, I feel so much better after a weekend going out on the trail and enjoying just some trees and some fresh air. And man, it's so good. So, you know, that stuff can be so helpful, but just having people around you to be like, hey, let's go ride and encourage like that positive behavior is massive to me. Just a little step, but that's just my thought. I don't know.
Do you think you'll be joining us next year? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, 100%.
No, go for it. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know you were trying to make it out for the next couple of weeks, but we're definitely would plan it next year for you to come out and join us too and ride with us.
Oh yeah.
Joe, what I love is for people listening or tuning in, you're really known. I mean, you just have a rapier wit. You're incredibly entertaining. You're on point, very eloquent. And what I love about you taking time, even though you can't show up, you don't have the ability to show up on the 15th, but you taking the time to support the event speaks volumes because it shows this other side of you, this real heartfelt side of you that cares. We all love the stoke of the ride and we all love the laughs and such. But somewhere in between there, we also love those real conversations. And I think it says a lot to see you on a podcast like this, just being very real about how important of an event this is for you.
Yeah, and I think one, supporting friends too, and like people that I've met in this community that to me have made an impact on me. I remember early on meeting Mark and going down there, and we did a podcast live from his kitchen and stuff to set up stuff like that. It's like there's community that forms, and of course, as that forms, you want to support them however you can too. It's like that's important. You know what I mean? Like all this stuff, friends, family, people who met along the way. Like there's so many people I've met because of this. Just making stupid videos for the internet now. How many people do I know across the world, all over the place? Do we all know? And it's like, man, that's a community that is formed, and it's like we all want to support each other. I think it's rad. I think what you guys are doing are awesome. I want to make fun of the Trail Dog guys, but I'll wait until they get in here.
I love it. Joe, you may be happy to know at Skypark, I love Isaiah and Aaron, the brothers, the Bernstein brothers there. Yeah. We were at Skypark. Tony was sitting next to me, the outsider, and there was a raffle. And when Isaiah went up, everybody's cheering because he won something in the raffle. Yeah. And then I yelled, "Boo that man!" And everybody started booing him. And I was just in tears. And then his brother Aaron was like, "If I win, I'm not going to get booed. I'm bringing a baby up with me." Yeah. So he had a baby, ready to go. Sure enough, Aaron also wins, goes up with a baby. Hey, everyone's cheering. And then I go, "Boo that man." And, Tony and I start, baby or not, baby's not going to protect you from getting booed. So.
Yeah, that's right.
You guys are brutal.
That's
you
right.
guys are brutal.
That's right.
I think it's great what the kid said is this community that brought us together. Like a year and a half ago, I started this goofy little podcast thing. And next thing you know, I'm flying out from Florida to California, and I'm getting DMs of all these people that are excited to finally, hook up. And it's just this community. I had no idea once I started this content creator stuff that I was going to connect so well with people. I mean, Mark and Mia, we text on a regular, and other people we do, and it's so great. I didn't think I would ever get to this point. I don't have hundreds of thousands of subscribers or views and stuff, but it's just
not yet.
It's the community.
Not yet.
Go subscribe to Johnny, people.
It's so amazing. My wife is in love with it, and she doesn't even ride a mountain bike. But
if you bring that all together too, the community that forms, like you think about like meeting someone you never knew and you find out they've struggled with something that you've struggled with, and then you've got that bond that brings you together, and now there's open conversation and dialogue, and it's like all it took was like buying a bike, and sometimes it doesn't even take that. Sometimes you just like have a crappy bike laying around and you start getting on social media and you're finding groups to ride with and meeting new people. And like, but again, the same thing, you go on a group ride, you meet somebody, they're like, "Oh man, I was dealing with this." You're like, "I dealt with that." Like, boom.
Yeah.
And immediately, like, this is kind of some of the things that I'm sure you guys see at the event.
We see it at the event for sure. And I can just tell you personally, Joe, I pretty regularly, I'll get DMs from people within the community, and I'm happy to get them. I don't want people to think it puts me out at all. I'm just glad people are being real. They feel the need to reach out somewhere. If we give an outlet and one person goes, "I'm going to go get the help I deserve," You know, I'm going to get the help I deserve and get some answers and get some structure around my life so I can feel well, I can be well, you know, look forward to the future. God, that's everything, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, piggybacking from that, you guys talking about the community, for me, I was talking to someone the other day. I don't know if it was Meg. You can remind me, Meg, in the comments, how I feel like I found my community. You know, I've been a musician my whole life. It's good, but it's like the mountain biking community is just different. And then getting to meet all of you either at these events or the Sedona Mountain Bike Festival, the Bentonville, or even just in a group ride, I think is amazing, because now even people that are watching this are going to be like, oh, hey, can I chat with you? Like, do you have any resources, or how can I just that initial conversation of, can you help me? Or you did help me. I think that is absolutely amazing.
Or even, amazing. You know what we all can do, even if we're not content creators, just have a posture of, yes, you can ride with me.
Yeah.
Just that, 100%. Right?
Yeah, I only charge like $1,000 for a
That's
ride.
true.
Like, I don't know what you guys charge.
Just got the aluminum plaque. So
that's right. That's right. Well, we say aluminium where I'm from, but it's all the same thing, I guess.
Since we're talking about community, I do want to shout out some people, because this is so key. When you have an event like Ride and Shine, it's different than your average group ride, you know, where somebody puts it on, you're like, hey, come ride with us. There's so many people, content creators, supporters within our community, people who constantly just show up, who are going to be there. A handful of them are in the audience today. Meg is here. Meg spoke with a ton of courage and strength last year. And so I'm glad that Meg's going to be there again. Kelly O'Bikes is going to be there again. Jeff Kroom is in the audience. Jeff Kroom is a huge supporter of all of us. And if you watch his content, you'll see how much he shouts out people in the mountain biking community. He's going to be there. Zach Round, the tumor warrior, has a fascinating story. Literally a mountain biking crash allowed him to get a CT scan where they found a tumor. It saved his life. And now Zach is part of this community. We have MTB Rad Dad showing up. I saw Air Blair in the audience. Air Blair is the one who's putting the Laguna Mountain Bike Festival together for 2024. UO SoCal will be a part of this. There's so many people that it's hard to remember everyone. And Generation MTB, who last year made Ride and Shine shirts, and this year are helping as part of the event, and will also be a vendor there. Just like, there's so many. Joe, I think you said it really well today in your promo for this live. You said there's so many people you can throw a hat at.
I think I made that up. I don't even know if that's an actual phrase.
We're all going to be throwing hats at each other on July 15th.
It's like the enemy from Austin Powers. Maybe that's where I got it from. He throws his chew, honestly.
But that's true, right? There's so many, and it's hard. It's always hard to be able to say everybody in, like, you know, a short form content. But it doesn't go unnoticed. Like, our hearts are with yours, and if you just want to be a part of this, because we get asked this a lot, how can I help? All you have to do is, like, I would say, take Joe's example. There's the point. Take Joe's example. Even if you can't show up, if you believe in what is happening on July 15th at Skypark Beyond the Ride, tell people to come. You never know what it could do. Just tell people to come and be a part of it. Share it with them. Say that you're going to be there if you're able to be there. And if you're not, say, I can't be there, but you need to go. And if any of you are prohibited from going in any way, shape, or form financially, please hit one of us up and we'll see what we can do. We want you there. We want you to be a part of the event. Yeah,
we don't want finances to be a burden. I recently connected with this amazing writer that I've been following her for a while. She's really funny. Her name's Alexis. She goes by the Geargirl, and she's in Southern California. And I was like, dude, you have to come to Ride and Shine. So I want to bring her on and introduce her to everyone. What's up?
What's up?
Hi. I love your hat. Your hat's great.
Oh, thanks. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so I don't know if anybody can tell. It's the opening scene from New Hope. And
does anybody just stand there and stare at your hat, and they're like, well, I'm just waiting to see if it's going to keep going? Does anybody do that?
I wish someone would be. No one's actually. Only a few people have gotten that it's the Star Wars thing. I'm like, someone please ask me.
Oh, it's pretty iconic. I saw it. I caught it. I'm glad you explained it. What episode are we starting with you though? Are we on episode 4? What is it?
I think. I guess 4. I guess 4 would be.
My eyes are
always
down here.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so stoked. I mean, I'm just like in awe to be around the awesomeness of creators that are here right now. And Yeah, this event just seems so epic, and I cannot wait to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually oh, sorry, Mia, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say really quick. So I actually am originally from Northern California and recently was living in Georgia for a long time. And Johnny, yes, there's some epic riding in Florida. Epic riding. I mean, there's not a lot of elevation gain, but it's like I was in shock at the riding in Florida. I love it down there.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun.
Not a lot of climbing, but it's fun. It's very technical.
No. Virginia Key, Markham, Althea. Yeah, it's some great riding. I was in shock when I
Virginia Key's 8 miles from my house. I usually just ride to it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, and then die on my way home.
Oh,
yeah. How many alligators do you run into, Johnny? How many alligators?
Not down here, really.
Oh.
No,
okay.
I don't. There's a place called Shark Valley. It's just a pathway, but you actually have to ride around the gators. It's a lot of fun, though.
Nope. I'll take rattlesnakes any day.
Did any of you catch Doug Luce? Doug from LA, I think is his Instagram handle, Doug in LA. He was at Summit this past weekend, and a bear, right when he's riding, a bear ran across the trail.
I had that happen in Whistler, actually. Yeah, that happened in Whistler. We were hauling ass downhill. I was probably going faster than anybody out at Whistler, let's just for the record. And then there's just a bear right in front of us. Everybody just detours off the trail. They're everywhere out there.
That happened to me once too in Downeyville. We were on Third Divide, and this bear just came rolling right through the trail, and we were just like, we just all froze. But it was actually also really cool because we're like, oh my gosh, it's a bear.
Nature.
So
wow,
hard pass.
I'm glad no one has run into a bear yet. That'd be quite a story.
We've got spokesman asking here, where does one contribute to the Ride and Shine event?
This is a great question. So we get asked this. So just so you all know, this year, a portion of the gate proceeds is going to Skypark's nonprofit, Making Spirits Bright. And there is really a deep heart tied to this. Skypark is actually going to be sharing a personal story at this year's Ride and Shine. And a portion of those gate sales are actually going to be going towards mountain bike lessons for kids. And you're going to hear more of that unpack on the 15th. But if you want to contribute, I would say contact Stephanie Burrows, SBURROWS at skyparksantasvillage.com. Let her know that you want to contribute in some way, and she can give you more options.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Adam. I'm too excited. I'm so excited to bring on our next person, because this dude is like the first person I ever watched YouTube. Like geeking out,
right?
Geeking out here. Yes. Like to this day, I will go to the Outsiders channel for any trail that I'm trying to find. So I'm really excited that he's going to be a part of it. And let's bring him on here. Come on, Tony.
Tony. Thank you for the kind word.
Bunch right now.
No, it's true.
It's true. Missing 2 squares.
I'm down here all alone. No, like I'm so excited to be helping and being able to contribute and going to this event. And for me, mountain biking has always been a part for me. One of the reasons I started mountain biking was where the bike brings you, right? Like the appreciation station became a huge part of my channel, stopping and taking it in, taking that second to like forget about the jumps and the rock gardens for a second and like look around you and just get that sense of peace. And for me, like, you know, John, you said you go to a therapist. I've been going now for a while, and it's something that, like, the way I always try to describe it to people that are like, it's foreign to, mountain biking is a form of therapy to me. Therapy is its own form of therapy, because for me, every week when I go, it's almost like I'm organizing my room in my brain. You know, like you clean your room, you make your bed in the morning. It's a sense of organization. It's a sense of like getting things solidified. And for me, my brain is so all over the place from week to week. It's a sense of like really just putting things in order and leaving and having that sense of like, you know, I don't know. I'm kind of going off on a tangent here. I'm just excited to be here and listening to all you guys. I'm fans of all of you. And that's my pitch. I'm sticking to it.
My pitch. No, we're stoked to have you, Tony. We're really stoked to have you. And hopefully everyone who's coming out will get to ride with all of, well, except for Joe. I mean, I'm going to give him a hard time still. I mean, you know, he's just going to give you a hard time.
We'll have to bring a fake mustache and we can pretend.
We could do like a cutout.
Yeah.
I'll be the
cut out
kid
of
at
his
one
face.
point.
Cut out. Yeah.
And then just like insert him into like photos every time. Like,
Yeah, 100%. That's a
So now,
great idea.
Adam,
We
are
should
you
just have
gonna
like
be
a
able to
photo
ride?
station with me. Yeah.
What's that, Johnny?
Adam, are you going to be able to ride? Or are you going to be busy doing the whole stage stuff? And
That's the hope. Last year, you know, I had told Mark, as much as I wanted to ride, this is not something I will ever phone in. I won't sleep on it. And so last year I didn't ride because I just wanted to make sure everything that we had that was coming, and it was our freshman offering, that we could feel good about giving our best effort to. So my goal is to ride this year.
yes,
It's a little shorter format. And I want to say, like, what Tony said is great, because you weren't rambling at all, man. I love the way you said that. To see a therapist helps get your mind in order. It's like a decluttering. It feels good when you clean a room in your house, you know, and everything is in its right place. And in order to do that, it's like we need somebody else when we spill the puzzle out on the table to help us sort through where the corners are and the boundaries and all of that. And to Tony's credit, I have to tell you all, last year, just like you, Mia, I started off as a huge fan of Tony's, and I still am. Big
He
fan.
started off as,
Oh, yeah.
okay, he just
Started
wanted to
off
stretch it out real quick.
That's it.
Where are we now? I don't know.
But last year, you know, I was really, this time last year, I was becoming friends with Tony. And I remember asking him if he'd be part of this event. And just like Mark, he didn't hesitate. Like, there was zero hesitation. He just goes, yeah, man, I'm in. What do you need? And I was just like, shit, did the outsider just say yes to, like, you know, coming to ride and shine? That's so cool. And you know, he showed up and he took it in. He was a part of it. He was a supporter. Yeah. He believed in it. And this year it was no different. He was just like, yeah, we're doing it again. Cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. And with the therapy thing too, like it doesn't always have to be like, people think it's always like you go to therapy for this traumatic thing in life and all these things. It's just helpful. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
very true.
Anybody, you're having a normal childhood, everything, nothing crazy happened, it's still going to be a great value to you, I think. So I just feel like, you know, it's really cool in the last 10, 15 years, 20 years, I don't know, whatever it is, it's become more acceptable. And I think that it's really refreshing to be able to talk about out in the open and not have it as this like little secret on the side that people do, you know. I think it's really important.
Yeah,
100%.
Mental health, anxiety, depression, all that stuff likes you to be quiet. It wants just you all to yourself. And then when you finally open up, whether it's a counselor or reaching out to a friend, you just start to feel that power go away that it has on you, and it just feels so good.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
Yeah.
And then this year, Adam, Tony, the outsider, was your cameraman for one of the promo shots.
Oh, that's right.
How the tides have turned.
You know, it's so funny because Tony and I, like, there wasn't a lot of people at Skypark that day, right? Because like all the parks have opened. So Tony and I got some riding, and he created a really dope like Skypark tutorial guide, I guess is what he would call it. And I was like, yeah, we'll film each other. He's gonna do his intro, right? He's gonna do that. And I'm kind of going down the mental list of people, and literally, like, you know, when you're in the zone, like you're in the zone. And then I kind of look beyond the, you know, like beyond the camera, like, and I was like, fuck, it's Tony. Like, how did I forget Tony?
I called you out though, at least.
You called me out. You're so gracious. It was wonderful. It was a genuine moment. And the truth is, I that really was just like a brain fart. I'm so grateful for Tony. And a lot of y'all don't know, is like content creators, you know, Tony, we affectionately call him like the Godfather, because a lot of us watched him before our come up. Like he paved the way, right? Like, and if you're watching this, you're seeing all of our heads nod. And Tony's so humble, but the reality is, like, Tony really has given back to a lot of us. If we ask for advice or insight or what do you think, he has never withheld any of that. So he is like, he kind of blazed a trail for so many of us to even be in a position where we can put an event like this on.
Yeah,
I appreciate 100%. The kind words. That's very sweet.
I was thinking, Tony, I'm going to put you on the spot. He should do trail guide tours at Skypark, like actual live. Just you're releasing them for each ride, right? So even my wife's never been there, and I was like, "You're gonna kill it. Let's just watch Tony's latest video on sleigh ride." And she was like, "All right, yeah, let's just do that."
Following Tony's a whole different story, because Tony's very skilled rider. He's very fast. Following him is different.
I've never been to Skypark, and I watched your last couple of videos, and I'm like, it was such a great walkthrough.
Oh, thanks. I love making those. The organization of trail guides for some reason fits in my brain. I just love making them, like, because the reason I started making the trail guides is because I'm not from California. I'm from Connecticut, and I moved here, started mountain biking, and I didn't know where the hell I was going ever. And all we have are these flat maps, but I didn't know what the trails were like, right? So I just started making them, and that's kind of how my channel started, was like just throwing something at the wall and seeing what stuck. And I figured if I could use this information and it's useful to me, then maybe somebody else will. And then all of a sudden, then, you know, there it was. It was kind of cool how it happened.
You
To
guys are
piggyback
all,
off
you
of
guys are
that,
all making a horrible mistake, by the way. The trick is to go watch the trail guides after you ride the trail, so that you can blame your lack of riding ability on the fact you've never seen the trails. You guys are just messing it up every step of the way.
Tony, I was going to say, actually, and I apologize, I just wasn't familiar with your channel up until recently, but I met you at Skypark. It was the bike park festival. It was the Trail Dogs group ride. I remember I said, hey, I saw your video, and I had a helmet on. So maybe you didn't recognize me, but thank you. So I just thank you again. Your content was awesome because, like I said, I'm down here, but I'm not from Southern California, and I'm like, where do I go to ride? And it's like, and I looked, you were the first person that popped up in your videos, and they're awesome. So,
I remember you coming up to me completely now. Yeah, I didn't recognize you because of the helmet. So
here,
was it a Darth Vader helmet, Alexis? Was it a Darth Vader helmet? Was it?
Oh gosh, I wish. No. I'm more of a rebel. I'm not into the Empire.
It's a pilot helmet.
It's the pilot, yeah, like an X-wing.
That's hilarious. So speaking of people that can fly, I think I got a trail dog on the line here, and all their videos are absolutely insane, and to me they can fly, so that's pretty amazing. Let's bring on Isaiah.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Isaiah?
I can fly, but I'm not good at landing.
Can I tell you guys something? I see the trail dogs maybe once a year because we'll see them in Sedona or something. Every single time I see them, they're injured. Every time they got something broken, whether it's Aaron, whether it's Isaiah, every single time there's crutches coming in. Like I can count on it 100% of the time.
Hey, but we're still riding. Even if we're hurt, we'll do one leg, one side saddle. You know,
true.
We're having fun still.
That's true.
Isaiah literally, I think it wasn't this year. It might have been New Year's Eve last year going into 2022. Isaiah was injured, but still came out for the Trail Dogs group ride just to film things.
That's amazing.
Help people.
That's awesome.
He's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, this year it's going to be great. Sorry, go ahead, Isaiah.
No, it's okay. No, it's difficult being injured, and like you guys were saying earlier, like the bike is part of the therapy of getting out, meeting people, being with people, being on the trail, and being off of the bike. It's hard, but you can still be part of the community. Like these group rides, these events that happen, like you can still show up, be with people, hang out with people, and they're all going to be tired, exhausted after, and you can be like the spark of like, yeah, I'm not tired because I didn't ride.
And Isaiah was one of our speakers last year. Really had to kick it off with his brother Aaron. And you know, one of the things that Mark and I said was, you never know what someone's going through. You never know the person you're riding next to, what they could be going through. And the trail dogs are blowing up so prolifically that we thought it was a great way to have Isaiah and Aaron share their story and really kick it off. And again, just like, you know, Tony, when I was like, hey, will you guys be part of it? And you want to speak on this? They were like, yeah, like we're down. And you know, what people have to share is really vulnerable. There's a crowd of people there. And if you're listening, please, if you do anything that day at 1 o'clock, meet us at the terrace for the shine portion. It's only an hour, but every person that has a seat there shows those people who are on stage or those who might be sitting next to them that they're not alone in this. But Isaiah's got a heart of gold. You know, he shared with Aaron last year, and he will regularly call me just to check in on me. There's like no agenda other than just going to call at him and check in on him. I think it's the sweetest thing. Just call a human being.
Yeah,
that's so good. You know, you were saying about. Sorry, go ahead.
So I think there's a delay. I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Stage is yours. You came in late because I asked you to come in late. Thanks, Isaiah.
No, of course. So I was gonna say earlier, you'd mentioned somebody that you knew that like with the whole PTSD, I can relate to that. I actually didn't know. I have chronic PTSD and severe anxiety. I forget the name of it, but that's pretty much it. And with that, I didn't know I had panic attacks. Like I just thought, oh, my something's wrong with my heart. Like it hurts physically. And
Yeah.
it wasn't until somebody cared enough to like sit there with me and be like, well, what are you exactly feeling? Like, what's going on in your mind? I was like, I don't know. It's blank. Like I intentionally make it blank, but until somebody cared enough to talk. And that's the biggest thing, is to like, just sit there and talk to somebody, because you may not be able to see something, but somebody else may be able to see something.
Right.
So it wasn't until then that I found out that this, like, I went to the hospital probably like 3 or 4 times thinking that like I had something wrong with my heart. I was like, I don't get it. And he's like, pretty sure you have like anxiety and that's a panic attack. I was like, no, panic attacks like cripple you. And they're like, no, your heart like is just, it's not your heart, it's your anxiety and your panic attack.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
You know, it's so good that you shared that, because that's exactly what my buddy told me the other day. I've known him for about 4 years. He was my ride and die in law school, and he did 2 tours of Iraq. He saw a lot of stuff like a lot of people do, and he never addressed it or thought that he had to address it. And it's literally last week was when I finally met up with him, and he's like, I started therapy. And I was like, dude, that's so awesome. You need to come ride with us at Ride and Shine. You're going to see so many
That's
veterans.
so
You're going to
awesome.
connect with people, you know, and I was telling him about our community, and he's like, oh, it reminds me of the military and I miss that. And I'm like, however it makes you feel, like, come down and meet these people, because you are not alone. Like everyone. And he said the same thing about his chest pains. He's like, oh, I just thought I was something hurting, like anxiety. What's anxiety? You know? So it's amazing having you tell that and him sharing the same thing.
Yeah, it's definitely, like I said, like you don't know until somebody identifies it, like what you were saying, Tony, or I forget who was saying it, but like you don't know what somebody else is going through, but you may be able to relate in the same way. And that was definitely my position in it, is like I didn't know what anxiety, or I didn't know what panic attacks felt like. It wasn't until somebody explained to me, and I was like, well, that's what I feel, but it's physical. I promise you it's physical. But then I saw a therapist after that and figured out just the tools to go through with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what's crazy? For those of you who know Isaiah, if he didn't share this, you would not have any clue that he suffered from that. You wouldn't. He's just a warm, friendly, nurturing, strong personality that you would think he's just got all of his shit together. And he does. Part of that shit is knowing what he has, right? And how to function with it. But this is exactly why the event is so important. You don't know. And the weather, you know, the conversations about weather only go so far, right?
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah. Can I piggyback on top of that really quick? Because I mean, I wasn't really comfortable about sharing at first, but this is, I mean, I was just, you know, and Mia, I talked to you a little bit about it too, but on the phone. But I have suffered with crippling anxiety since I was 8. Like I just, like Isaiah, I woke up one morning and I just, I felt like I was going to die, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was 8 years old, and I just felt like the same thing, like my heart was racing out of my chest, and I just felt like I couldn't breathe. And I told my mom, I think I need to go to the hospital or something. At 8 years old, I just was like, what is going on? And my parents, because they knew what a panic attack looked like, they were able to calm me down from it. But I have dealt with it my entire life. And it's hard, because there's sometimes it does debilitate me in terms of even just getting out and riding, because sometimes it just really just weighs me down. But, you know, because I love to ride so much and it's just such a part of my life, you know, I just have to, you know, whether I'm in therapy, and I'm actually in between therapists right now, but whether I'm in therapy or just, I don't know, anything from like, this is my little rubbing worry stone that I wear all the time. And I'm like, you know, some days I'm hugging it more than others, but you know, it's just, sometimes it really does take a lot for me to get out there and but when I'm finally out doing the thing I love, it's just very rewarding.
I'm so stoked you're coming to join us. I'm so stoked you're going to ride with us.
That's why I'm so stoked about this event, because I'm like, I definitely try to hide it as well, because I don't want, like, you know, that whole fear thing, but there's no shame in it at all.
Thanks for sharing that. That's exactly what people need to hear. Because you know someone's listening right now going, that's me. That's exactly what I feel like that, you know?
Yeah.
Totally.
And if you guys come up to Skypark, come ride with Alexis too. I mean, we're all going to be riding.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of people that are going to be there, I know Adam gave a little shout out earlier to some of the folks that are going to be there, but you know, I'm going to repost the flyer today on Instagram, but so far the ones that are up there, we've got the Bomber Crew, they're coming out. Johnny, who's obviously in this call, Johnny all the way from Miami, Florida. We've got the Outsider, we've got Transcend, Generation MTB. Tell me who else I'm missing. We've got a lot of people.
The Miltonator is coming out
yes.
As part of that. Venakava's coming out as part of that. I don't know if we mentioned MTB Rad Dad, but Rad Dad's coming out and even has some giveaways for the raffle. He'll be part of that. Vendor wise, we have some great vendors. Brett Hall from Unspoken. I saw him in the chat. To Brett's credit, you know, first year of Ride and Shine, Brett Unspoken, they got a booth. And so they're going to have a booth at it. Again, I think we mentioned Generation MTV will also have a booth. Etnies is actually going to be there. Specialized, Sport RX, Zoic, Newport Healthcare. So there's healthcare professionals on hand for anybody who wants to take a step of action towards their mental health that day. They're going to be back on hand. And I know I'm going to be forgetting a handful of people because keep coming. Steve Caballero coming, right?
Yeah. If you like skateboarding, if you like music, art, and you like the legend of the Bones Brigade, Steve Caballero is going to be there signing autographs, saying what's up. So
I've been wearing Steve's shoes since 1991.
Oh my God. Are you wearing them now is the question.
No, but they're close by.
Thank you for being honest, Tony.
Yeah. Hey, we also got word. We got word that Jeremy McGee, he does adaptive riding. He's going to be part of it. Check him out. Dope. So dope. But was he not just on GMBN?
Yeah. When I was in Bentonville, they were at the hub and they were filming a segment on him. It was really cool to see. That guy ripped.
Very cool.
Yeah. Smooth MTB, Sam and Susie from San Diego Mountain Biking Association. We got word that they're going to be there. Again, if we haven't shouted you out and you're coming, just shout yourself out, please. This is a community effort.
Yeah.
Let people know that you're a part of this. We're just grateful to have you.
And tag us too, you know, so we can reshare it out there. I think on my list, I also have MTB Allen. I know you said Kelly O'Bikes is coming back. Yeah, Meg is coming. I know she's injured, but Meg's going to be there. She's doing some amazing stuff with us here at the Women's MTB Network now. She's been helping me out a lot. She's amazing. She's part of the crew. She's always going to be part of the crew. And I think some of the crew from Worldwide Cyclery is going to come. I don't think Jeff's going to come, but I think Jared and a couple of the guys from the shop is going to come ride.
It's going to get rowdy then. It's going to get rowdy.
Awesome. See, you're missing it, Joe.
Yeah, you know who can't make it though.
Damn it.
Every man
tell me who.
Trip. I gotta be out in Seattle. Stupid. Damn it. Everybody's pointing to me. Yeah, that's the screenshot. Wait, everybody pointing to me and somebody screenshot where it was.
Hold on. Everyone pointing
that screenshot.
Got it.
Okay, Steve got it. I guess he's my screenshot specialist. Speciality. There you go.
Hey, you know what's cool?
Joe.
I want to say real quick for those of you who are new to mountain biking and you want to get connected, this is a great event to do so. I have some really close friends now who I met last year as part of this event. Christian from Falcons Gray was new to mountain biking, wanted to get connected. I shout out Bomber Crew for him, Outsider, Trail Dogs. He showed up, even donated season passes to Skypark. Love riding with him. Great guy. Kaz is going to be there. Kaz was in the chat. He shows up on, he's one of Tony's patrons, shows up on those rides. Great photographer, great dude. Doug, we mentioned, who had the bear, Doug Luce, had the bear run out in front. There's just so many people, so many great people are going to be a part of it.
It's going to be
content creator. Seth was here is going to be there.
Where was Seth?
Oh, he got it. Joe got it.
Beautiful.
Steve's my guy in the chair. He's my guy in the chair. I'll send it to you.
Hey, Joe, I'm just disappointed you're not next to the fire.
I know. The problem is you can't do a fireside chat when it's 100 degrees out. And the problem is you can't do a fireside chat when it's light out. The lighting's not right. So I got to wait till winter comes in. And then whoever wants to come up from SoCal can come jump on a fireside chat. People don't realize it takes me 2.5 hours to set up and break down that. Anytime I do it, it's like a lot of work. So,
Joe, I've seen it in person, and I will say you are very correct. I couldn't believe what was going on behind the scenes when you were doing that. And you're controlling the cameras at the same time, having conversations, the lighting. It's
next level.
Crazy one man.
Yeah.
Joe's very smooth.
We need to
Very
do a
sweet.
behind the scenes podcast with Joe and like how he does his trips.
3 hours
speed.
long.
It turns out I'm a glutton for punishment, as much of us content creators are, right? You go above and beyond to like fight through whatever discomfort you've got to like get the right shot or get their best audio, or like there's always something nagging at us, and we all know how that is. So it's just it weighs on me, you know, like so it's like it's always something.
And the
Seth was
barbecue.
It's a bummer you're not going to be
Barbecue.
there.
Ooh.
No.
He'd watch the backstage.
So, Adam, is there going to be some entertainment other than people talking about
Great one,
their
Johnny.
lives and the things that they're going
Great
through?
question, Johnny. Yeah, I was hoping, you know, my friend Ben, Sir Daniel Birch, Miss Brightsea, they all showed up last year. But Ben flew himself out from Washington just to be a part of it. Love him. He can't be a part of it again. But that gorgeous cello, Sir Daniel Birch is going to be there. And his friend Danielle, beautiful vocalist. And so, yeah, there's going to be music again as part of the event. I think it just helps carry that note. By the way, I don't want anybody leaving this podcast thinking, if you're listening, thinking this is a downer of an event. It's all about hope. It's all about stoke and hope. That's it. When we share openly of our mental health struggles and challenges and how we want to be mentally fit and well, we do that as a sign of hope for others to get the help they need. So although you will hear some very challenging stories and things will be very real, raw, and authentic, it's not to leave people on a downer note. It's so we end the stigma. We're going to talk openly about this stuff so that we can illuminate these stories of hope and we can all shine as a community.
And I also don't think it's a hard sell. It's like basically like, hey, you want to go ride some incredible trails at one of the best places on the planet and then hang out with rad people and then just bring some awareness to something that's really important. It's like, dude, like, let's go. You know what I mean? Like Skypark is one of the funnest places I've ever ridden. I've ridden a bunch of places, and it's like, you're going to get to go ride and then just go hang out with all these cool people. Like, just sign me up for that alone. Like, and then everything else is icing on the cake. You know, it's so good.
And the way Skypark is really set up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go, Tony. I don't want to interrupt you. Go for it.
I was going to say, in the way Skypark is set up, if you're intimidated by bike parks, don't let that get in the way. The Skypark is set up. It's very condensed in a positive way. They've really utilized the landscape in a really positive way. They have a restaurant and a pub at the bottom. The session jump is right there. You can watch people session the jump while you're having beers and hang out with your friends, meeting new people. The way that the booths are set up, they're right in the thick of that too. So like you almost don't even need like bands and stuff because it's just such a perfectly situated like landscape for
anybody could go there. It's the best. Anybody who just got a bike could go there. You could go,
and you can bring your family. Yeah.
And that was coming from the best trail guide that we know. So
all the way at the bottom.
That was a big one.
I can't even.
It's confusing to me. It's opposite.
Joe, I'm
like,
curious.
no.
Was your last time at Skypark? Was that when you did the live stream with?
That was the last time. The 80s or the 90s montage film that we filmed with Tony out there was probably still one of the favorite things I've ever done. It was
so fun.
One of my favorite moments. But yeah, that was the last time I rode out there. I meant to get out there. I know they did an event recently that was just rained in, and then of course this is coming up and I can't make it, but yeah, that place is so fun, man. It's such a great spot.
Yeah. Well, we're holding to it next year.
I will add this too. I had some people message and be like, "Oh, like I'm just a beginning rider. Like once I get like good, we'll ride." Like go up to each and every one of these guys that are going to be there and like talk to them, ride with them, hang out with them. Like don't just be like, "Oh, I can't ride that well. I'm not going to even try to ride with them." Like ride with us and ride with each and every person here that's going to be there. If you recognize them or if you don't, even if you see somebody sitting there, you're like, "Hey, let's ride. Like, let's hang out. Let's grab some bomb food and just hang out," because that's what this event is about, is community and ending the I have to be alone stigma and all of that. So I just wanted to add that as well.
Yeah, beautiful. Well said.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the old saying, right? If you're invited, you're wanted. Like, it doesn't matter. If we're inviting you, come and ride with us. Like, it doesn't matter. Just come hang.
So fun.
You guys are all absolutely amazing. And Adam, let me know, did I miss something? I think we covered all the amazing things we were going to do.
Listen,
shout out to folks.
You are amazing. Like, can we just give it up for Mia? Mia's been hustling her ass off with the Women's MTB Network. And literally, if you guys knew the amount of text messages and emails that she is on to try and help make this thing incredible this year, Mia, you're wonderful. So thank you. If we missed anybody, it's not intentional. There's that many people coming. So please shout yourself out. That would mean so much to us, and tag us like Mia said.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm gonna have time to ride.
Yeah, 100%.
Hugging everyone.
Yeah.
And you know, next Thursday, the 13th, July 13th, the segment, Mark is going to have some other content creators on his podcast. Yeah, it is opposite.
Yeah.
So tune into that as well. We're going to be shouting that out, but he's going to have some other amazing folks that are coming out that day on his podcast. And we're going to be talking about what they're going to be doing. All fun things.
So fun.
Thank you to everyone in the chat. Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, just another icing on the cake real quick. At the end of the whole ride, and then the shine portion, Skypark is going to be doing a free giveaway. Tons and tons of prizes from all these different bike companies, people that could be there, people that couldn't be there, but there was so much stuff to give away. So it's just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Very cool.
For sure. Yeah, thank you guys again. Thank you for everyone who watched and listened and hung around and talked in the chat. We really appreciate you all coming out and hanging out with us. And to all of you who shouted it out, all 7 of you, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, however many we have.
Math is not my specialty.
Yeah, that's samesies. And I'm looking forward to finally meeting some of you in person that I haven't met ever. And you guys are amazing. Thank you again for taking the time in your day and being a part of this. I really appreciate it. Have a great night.
Thanks, everybody.
So excited.
Great meeting everybody.
See you on the 15th. Yes.
No.
I'm glad I got the